Hi, this is Kylie with Fem and Flow. I hope everyone's having a great day. Today, I want to talk more about upward spirals and how we are moving into a time where we will be able to instantly create our reality. In previous episodes, I've talked about our energetic electromagnetic body and our toroidal flow of energy. And I've talked about how the universe is all a spiral of energy. In the episodes about spirals, I talked about how Earth or Gaia is currently a realm in a black hole universe. In black holes, energy spirals downwards, and there is duality and polarity. In white hole universes, energy spirals upward. In white hole universes, energy spirals upward, and there's no duality. There's only bliss, love, compassion, enlightenment, and high vibrations like that. Specifically, white hole universes, or the realms within them, resonate with the 8 solfeggio frequencies, which we could call the voice of God. Realms or experiences within white hole universes are what we archetypally call heaven and where we build and live our eternal lives. White hole universes are what align with God's divine order and are natural and organic. Black hole universes are not aligned with God's divine order and are an inverse of it. If you listen to other episodes, I talked about how Satanism is actually taking what is natural and aligned with God's divine order and inverting it. Black hole universes and the duality and polarity we experience here is not natural to our soul and our consciousness. Black holes only come about if a false matrix is established in the fourth dimensional energy field. This false matrix cuts the physical experience or dimensions 1 through 3 off from higher dimensional energies, including 8th dimensional God or source energy. In white hole universes, different experiences or different realms also have a fourth dimensional matrix that sets the programming or the vibe of the physical experience, but everyone and all things in the experience fully resonate with all higher dimensional energies. There's no brainwashing or forgetting who you truly are, like there is on Earth currently under the false matrix. Black hole universes in a downward spiral cannot sustain themselves, and energy is constantly collapsing in on itself. A black hole will eventually collapse altogether. I've talked before about the dark global elite parasitic beings. I've mentioned these parasitic beings are not connected to 8th dimensional God or source energy. 8th dimensional God or source energy is what sustains us. Humans are innately connected to God whether we realize it or not. Since the parasitic beings aren't sustained from God energy, they essentially energy harvest from humanity. These parasitic beings are the microcosm, where the black hole is the macrocosm. Since the black hole spiral is constantly collapsing in on itself, it is essentially siphoning energy from the beings connected to God energy in that realm. The black hole, like the parasitic beings, runs off low frequency energy. Once the black hole doesn't have enough low frequency energy, it will fully collapse. At the moment of full collapse, that is also the moment of the polarity shift I talked about in previous episodes. With the polarity shift, the black hole collapses and the universe shifts polarity to then being created from a white hole. At that point, energy is spiraling up instead of down. A downward spiral of energy or an upward spiral of energy correspond to the vibration or frequency of that energy. Black holes and white holes are at different resonances. Everything literally is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Like attracts like. This is why our own personal vibration is so important. It's literally all connected. So let's tie this together with our own toroidal flow of energy. I've talked about this more in depth on other episodes. Our bodies are electromagnetic and we all have an energy field around us. Our energy field is in the shape of a torus. It is donut shaped and radiates up and around us. In a previous episode, I said this energy field flows downward. I said it comes in at our head and flows down and back up and around. This downward spiral of our toroidal flow is only downward in black hole universes. In white hole universes, our toroidal flow of energy is in an upward spiral. This also ties to my previous episode about morphogenic fields, instant creation, and quantum healing. In this episode, I talked about how there is a longer way to create our reality and a shorter way. I said we are moving into a time where we will be able to instantly create our reality instead of having to wait for things to slowly manifest. In the longer way, we are sending out frequency and waiting for the energy to be pulled back in via our toroidal flow of energy. In the shorter way, we are pulling the energy to us and using our body as the intermediary for creation. We are pulling in God or source energy, using our body as a tool and our consciousness to project this energy directly into a morphogenic field. This is co-creating with God. You may have already connected this, but this long way and short way of reality creation corresponds to the concept of the downward and upward spirals of our toroidal flow of energy. With a downward toroidal flow, we have to send out frequency into the quantum field. Emotions all hold unique frequencies. Then we have to wait until that frequency goes out into the quantum, attaches to a string or a wave of energy. Then that string or wave turns into a particle of the same frequency that we sent out. And then our toroidal flow of energy pulls that back in. Then with an upward toroidal flow, we are directly anchoring in God or source energy. Our body is the tool and intermediary. Instead of sending frequencies out, we pull the energy directly to us and then transform it essentially. The key to this is our chakra system. Our heart and our third eye chakras anchor in God or source energy, and it filters through the other chakras. Well, filter through isn't the correct terminology exactly. It doesn't filter through them one by one. All of the chakras essentially light up with this energy at once. It is our root chakra that connects us to the physical experience and provides stability. Our root needs to be aligned and spinning to be able to pour that source energy into the morphogenic field of what we want to create. That is creating and building in the physical. That's why in my last episode, I said we need to imagine a cord going from our root chakra into the morphogenic field of what we want to create. We need to be stable and rooted in the physical to create and build here. Also, when I say upward and downward spiral, don't be confused with how energy flows in the chakra system. I've said before in guided activations or meditations to imagine pure light, pure God energy flowing through each chakra and aligning them. That's just to activate them properly. Once the energy system and chakra system is all balanced, energy doesn't flow through the system one chakra at a time. Source energy is anchored in via your third eye and your heart chakras. And once anchored in, all chakras essentially light up with energy at once. So I said we are moving into a time where we can instantly create our reality instead of how it works now. Now it takes some time to manifest into reality and it happens at a slower pace. In my last episode, I said we won't be able to instantly manifest for a little while, but we can use the shorter method to create things quicker. Specifically, we won't be able to instantly create until the false matrix fully collapses in on itself and the polarity shifts, so we are a universe that is created from a white hole. That is coming though. There's a step before the universe polarity shifting, and that is the polarity of our own energy field or our own toroidal flow shifting. Soon, our toroidal flow of energy will be flowing in an upward spiral instead of a downward spiral. This won't happen to everyone at once. It depends on our own personal vibration and what frequency of energy we resonate with. Some individuals may have a toroidal flow in an upward spiral already. This would be a recent thing, though. These individuals will be able to create things in their reality quicker and quantum heal quicker. Once we hit critical mass of the number of individuals who have shifted their own polarity and their energy field and toroidal flow is in an upward spiral, the polarity of the universe will shift. This shift will essentially bring heaven on earth because white hole universes or universes with energy in an upward spiral are what we archetypally call heaven. These universes and realms or experiences fully resonate with higher dimensional energies, including eighth dimensional God or source energy. Specifically, they are a harmonic resonance of 8 solfeggio frequencies that create what we call the voice of God. This is why it is extremely important we do things to raise our own personal vibration. We need to work on our traumas and insecurities so we can release that density. When we release density, we have more room to take on more light. We are in a critical and important time. If triggers come up, take time to get to the root of it so you can understand, grow, and release it. Triggers come up to show us where we still have pain, trauma, and density. We need to recognize it so we can release it and take on more light. I mentioned this in my previous episode, but alcohol, fast food, and ultra processed junk food completely damper our energy. All of those things absolutely poison us and lower our frequency. Cutting those out are 2 quick things we can all implement immediately to really help us. So, as you can see by what I talked about with our chakra system and our own spiral of energy, we can see how important the chakra system really is. So, in the next episode, I'm going to talk a little more about the importance of all the chakras and talk about how it's so important to ground ourselves. So, that episode will be really good and be really helpful to people working on themselves. That's all I have for today. I hope you liked this episode. If you did, please subscribe and give me a 5-star review. I love you all. Have a great week.